Hey guys, this is Ryan Kennedy with Total Transformation Heating and Air Conditioning, taking you inside of Crawlspace to show you some of the work that we've done. When we first got to the house, this house was filled with all kinds of mold. The mold was coming from the humidity, as well as condensation. The humidity was coming from the outside air, especially when it rains. Of course, you've got these vents now on a lot of these crawl spaces that are open, and so whenever it's hot outside, it senses the duct leakage, the cold air in the crawl spaces, and gets in there and creates condensation, and that condensation really tears up your ductwork. So you had that going on. The homeowner was unaware that they had a dryer vent that was just dumping hot air into the crawl space, so that was another problem that they had. The old vapor barrier was all torn up, and the ground was exposed in more areas than it was covered. As you can see on this job that we've done, we've actually put in an 8mm plastic. This isn't something you can just buy from Home Depot. You have to special order it. But a great vapor barrier to try and make sure that wet ground doesn't evaporate and put a lot of moisture in the crawl space, affecting the ductwork. And a lot of times you'll get buckle floors too. If you have hardwood floors, you'll see a lot of floor buckling because of the moisture. So those are some things. As you can see, you got the plastic that's down nice and stretched out. You can see right here where all of the seams are taped, where the plastic meets the plastic. We also wrapped the piers from the bottom all the way to about 4 inches from the top. And the reason we do that is so that the pest control inspector can look for termite tunnels, just to make sure that there's no termite activity there. Also, I want to bring you over here and show you just a little bit closer to where the trunk line and the flex connect, right there at the damper. I want you to see how that's nice and taped off all the way around the collar, and there is literally no airflow coming out around this collar right here, which is very important. That means that the air that is coming out of the coil or out of the furnace is the actual air temperature as close as possible to the air temperature coming out of your vent. So instead of losing 10 degrees from the unit to the vent, you may lose just 5 or so. So much better alternative. This homeowner is going to really love the fact that their utility bills are going to be down considerably. Again, the insulation is twice as thick as the old insulation, so that's going to help. Yeah, this house is a whole lot drier now and looks a whole lot better. Feels cleaner. The homeowner said that the other day was the first day he was able to wake up and actually breathe through her nose without being stopped up. So amazing what some good air quality can do for your environment. Hey guys, right now we're up underneath the crawl space over on the outside edge of the wall. As you can see, we pulled the liner all the way to the edge of the wall as tight as we can. Once it's pulled flush, we use these little landscaping stakes, and what he does is he actually taps those down into that vapor barrier down into the ground. And the reason for that is if you ever have anybody crawl up under here, I don't know if you've ever noticed a lot of crawl spaces we have where somebody's taken a lot of time and effort to put a vapor barrier in, but over the years it just gets pulled up like this one, and you end up with more dirt than you do coverage. So these landscaping stakes actually keep the vapor barrier intact. That way, when somebody's crawling around on it, the barrier is not scooting with you, it's staying intact. So you can make sure that it has full coverage and doing what it's supposed to do for years to come. Okay, as you can see, we've got this pillar nice and wrapped really tight, and we're cutting our little 4-inch gap in between the floor joist and the block, just to make sure our termite guys can see those termite tunnels. One of the things that I think is also really important to mention is when we first got in this crawl space, before we put any new ductwork, vapor barrier, or a dehumidifier, this wood was literally soaking wet from all the humidity and evaporation, and there was a lot of dark black spots around it. But we came in and put in this vapor barrier, put in a dehumidifier. We installed what we call concrobium. It's a eco-friendly, EPA-approved substance that not only kills mold, but also leaves a layer of protection for it again in the future. And I should have taken a picture of this before we got under here, but before it was a whole lot more damp, and as you can see, this wood is very, very dry, which is a good sign. That means that, you know, the mold is already died out, and, you know, the source of mold is humidity anyway. So this is your goal right here, is to make sure you dry that crawl space out. Okay guys, here's another view of the 8 mil vapor barrier that we've put over here in our customer's home. You can see it stretched out really nicely. Here's another view of the new ductwork that we've just installed. This is actually the end of the supply line. Taped off really nicely around the collars and at the end cap. You can see that the floor joists here now are really, really dry in comparison to what it was. Really happy with how this turned out. So if you've got a crawl space that's causing you some problems, you feel like you can have that, you smell that musty smell, or you feel like you got the presence of mold in your house, or floors are buckling, you just feel like your air quality is not very good, or your utility bill being really high, there's a good chance that you've got some issues in your crawl space, and this is the way to make sure you get those issues taken care of. I'm Ryan Kennedy, Total Transformation. You can reach us at 615-900-6873. You can visit us on our website at www.tnheatandair.com. Thanks for watching.